Hello, bonjour, et bienvenue to another Seen Any Good Films Lately from the 74th Cannes Film Festival.
That was the most fun I've had at a prize ceremony in Cannes in 22 years.
As everyone said, there's loads of sex in Cannes this year.
It's like a rumble.
And I felt like, oh no, the reviews are coming out today. And I actually just puked.
Pourtant j'étais très belle, oui, j'étais la plus belle des fleurs de ton jardin.
I'm Jason Solomons, and for sheer Cannes glamour, I'm joined by Black Widow star and Bond girl Olga Kurylenko. I've also got British star of Four Lions and The Big Sick, Adeel Akhtar, on his first visit to the festival with Clio Barnard's Ali and Ava. I bring you a new star from Norway, Renate Reinsvie. You heard her here first. And I introduce you to another actress everyone was talking about, Agathe Rousselle, from the festival's most controversial and out there succès de scandale, Titane. All of that on a packed show from a packed pandemic festival. Have I seen any good films lately? I'll tell you my favourites, and at the end, I'll reveal the winners. Pas mal, hein? So I've got a glass of rosé in front of me, and with so many films this year, it's been such a joy to watch a range from all around the world, all genres and styles, and some you like, and some you hate. I might as well start with the best, no? And for sheer joie de vivre, it has to be, for me, Casablanca Beats.
من زمان والضمن باقي فينا كيسين فاهم سيس في المغرب محسوبين ما بين الملاين ما بقى ما يتقال اليوم العيب باين كلشي داري باللي طاري كلشي في راسو اش كاين.
It's known in French as haut et fort, as in sort of high and loud. It's reminiscent of 2008 Palme D'Or winner The Class and that recent British movie Rocks, which I loved. Casablanca Beats has it all. Great faces, cool music, inspirational educator vibes. It's got politics and religion and the teaching of hip-hop as a cultural tool that can radically change society. It's got game, this film. It's got to have it, and I'm thinking that Spike Lee might just give the palm to an African movie for the first time since 1975. I also loved Red Rocket. It's about a fading porn star played by real-life adult actor Simon Rex. He's called Mikey Saber, and he's returning to his oil refinery Texas Gulf hometown, but trying to reignite his career with a pretty young girl called Strawberry, who he spotted working in a donut shop. It's directed by Sean Baker, who did the Florida Project, and he creates this wonderfully bright yet grainy aesthetic, and I was hooked by Mikey's reptilian exploitative desperation, and all the while Trump's 2016 rallies play on the big TV screens in those American homes. It's about the American dream, which I suppose is like a donut with all that pink icing and sprinkles on the top, but a hole right through the middle.
God damn it.
Look, I don't want to be here, all right? This is embarrassing.
Well, I don't want you
think
here
I want to show up
either.
like this? I got my ass fucking kicked. I just need a place to crash. Why can't you be
You're
cool?
not
Just
crap. What does it look like, a hotel?
Really? It's like that?
Can you get off the property, please?
Why? What are you gonna fucking do? Really?
What,
You're
you
not
want...
gonna let,
Oh, you
really,
want me to
you're
call
gonna
the
act...
cops? I'll call the cops.
Don't
No, I'm calling the cops. 10, 9, 8, 7, faster.
I'm technically off the property, so you can't call the cops because I'm on public land, respecting your boundaries.
Can you keep it down?
Can you come over here so I don't have to project my voice, please? Fuck. Seriously, I just need a place to crash for a couple of days. What's the big deal?
Mikey, go fuck yourself.
Oh, you don't even know what I've been through.
Oh,
Look at my fucking face. I just was on a bus for 2 days. I had to walk here from the bus station.
Why don't you stay with your mama?
My mom's in a nursing home in Labarque, a care home. I can't sleep there.
For sheer meditative cinematic bliss, there was Memoria from Thailand's Apichatpong Virasethakul, which starred Tilda Swinton as a British woman in Colombia, drawn to a deep, echoing thunderclap sound that only she can hear. It's a film of 20-minute long takes and karmic profundity. It's a wholly unique spiritual screen experience, like having a Thai massage in cinema with a trippy ending.
It's like a rumble from the core of the earth. Bang! And then it shrinks.
roughly 6,000 years old.
Oh.
Yes. Drilled into her head to release bad spirits.
Right, those are just 3 of my favourites, and we'll get into some more throughout the show, and we'll hear what some of my critical colleagues on the Croisette have been watching too. But it's time now to get my first star guest on. She's currently in Black Widow. I won't tell you which part because it's a bit of a spoiler, but she's there all right with Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh and old Ray Winston. Olga Kurylenko is, of course, also a Bond girl, Camille from The Quantum of Solace, and she's a regular siren of the Cannes red carpet, most recently for Terry Gilliam's The Man Who Killed Don Quixote in 2018.
Hi, Jason.
Hiya, Olga. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent, thank you. I'm in Cannes.
Lovely. Great.
Yeah. Well, where are you? You should be in Cannes. You're the red carpet Cannes girl.
Well, yeah. This year, I didn't have time to go. Actually, this time is so busy for me. I couldn't go even if I was invited to like dinners and events, but I'm too busy. So yeah,
I'm glad you're busy with Black Widow as well because I loved it and it's proving a massive hit.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. Thank you.
What do you think about a world where Ray Winston rules all these women and makes them do his evil work? What do you think about a world like that?
Wow, a world like that is quite terrifying, and it's good that they showed it, and that message is coming through because obviously it's a metaphor on things that go on in the world and situation. There are many situations like that, and obviously probably reflects human trafficking and all of that. Women that are stripped of their identity, of their freedom, and they can't get out, and it's terrifying. We've been obviously fighting for it. Everyone has been fighting for it for the last few years, and we're going to keep doing it. This has got to stop.
When you saw the script and when you were working on the movie, I don't know if you talked to the director Kate Shortland about it at all, and did you mention what the message was going to be, and you could see the whole thing kind of coming together? As it was sort of about that theme.
Yeah, we briefly spoke about it, but mostly we were speaking about my character, and we were concentrating on, the soul of the character and what's behind that armor and the mask and the helmet and the human being, the damaged human being that's behind there. And the woman that also was just suffered as much, who was stripped of her childhood, who's gone through probably lots of abuse and is psychologically controlled by her parent. And yeah, we were mostly concentrated on that. Yeah, it's interesting that obviously the message came through much more when I watched the film, because obviously I read the script, but it's so different when you read the script from the visual. The film is so much better. Yeah, I was myself stunned. I was like, wow, the message is strong. And all the women that play in it, they're great and they're strong and powerful. And it feels empowering for me as a woman to watch a movie like that.
Yeah,
it's good.
Do you feel drawn to roles? I mean, I know you weren't the main role in this, but you bring a sort of surprise element to it. Are you drawn to movies like that show, female empowerment coming together? I mean, your Camille, even in the James Bond, she was one of my favorite Bond girls because she was very much, she was on the poster. She was very much kind of part of that film. Do you know what I mean? She was an important member. It's
funny. Before I would say, no, I'm not drawn to it. But now I realize, I guess I was drawn to it without knowing, but I think I am. I now look back and I look at what I enjoy doing and what I do a lot of, and I am drawn to it. I also need it. It feels good to me. And I think as a woman, I guess I always wanted to prove that I'm strong, that I can make it for myself, by myself. This thing that I had to prove to myself. It's not even to others, it's to myself. And that's what I've always tried to do in my life.
I've always seen you as someone who kind of does their own thing, coming from where you come from, doing the movies that you've done, kind of the work that you do. You kind of just do the Olga thing, in that you could have gone to Hollywood and stayed in LA, but you didn't. You stayed in Europe, and you do European movies, you do sort of independent movies, as well as some blockbusters too.
Oh, I do. I can't be talked into something. I have my own, views. And even if the whole world will think this is the right thing and I don't think so, I think I'll go with the way I prefer.
What was the first film you ever saw at the cinema, Olga?
The first film?
Yeah.
Oh my God, do you know the first film I saw? It was Amadeus.
What a film.
I know, what a film. I went there. It's interesting. Wow, I never thought about it. We went there because I was in a musical school, and it was like a proper school, not just like piano lessons. It was like proper things, and I did it for 7 years. And we went as part of the program, and we went with teachers, and there were all these kids, and we watched that film. Yeah, and I found it terrifying. I was traumatized as a kid. I took it too close to the heart. It really got to me. As a child, I think now I probably watch it. It's okay, but it terrified me.
Was that in the Ukraine?
Yeah. Well, back then it was USSR.
Do you have a film poster on your wall?
Good question. Yes, I do. I actually have a Paris Je t'aime poster, which doesn't have I'm not on it, but it's just, and that's why I put it on, because I have these posters where I have the James Bond posters and Hitman posters and all of these films that I've done, but I can't frame it and put it on my wall. I find it a bit then it's I'll be seeing me everywhere and it would bother me. So if I'm on it, I can't put it up. So they're rolled up somewhere in the cupboard. I don't put them on, but yeah, the Paris I Love You is on it. Yeah.
Well, you are in the movie, but you're not on the poster.
No, I'm not on the poster. So it's cool.
It's kind of cool. What about, is there a movie that changed your life, that you saw it and it made such an impact on you?
Yes, Breaking the Waves.
Ah, the Lars von Trier.
I saw it, and I was I would say traumatized by it in a way that it was just but in a way that I loved it. I was like, oh my God, what a role. I was already thinking about acting. I was already living in Paris, and I was modeling, and I thought, okay, if I could get a role like that, it's worth being an actor. And I remember that was the day I decided that I will try the acting career because I saw that film. Because Emily Watson's performance was it blew my mind. And after that, I saw it again, and then I saw it again, and I had to see it again. And I think I've watched that movie 10 times. I don't think I've never watched any movie in my life more than Breaking the Waves.
You've had a movie at Cannes, though. You've been up the red carpet for a movie.
Yeah, I've had a couple of movies. Yeah.
Do you remember them?
So I think the first one was Paris I Love You. They were a big team. Then there was Don Quixote a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you had the man who killed Don Quixote with Terry Gilliam. You were here. I remember seeing you. Yeah, and then now, these are I remember my first one, my last one. Now in between, I know I've been there as well, but I don't remember. It's so many years. But yeah, these are the ones I remember because they're fresh in the memory. Yeah. My things have been announced, but they weren't presented. Well, if I could take you back in time, and you could visit any film set that's being made, a legendary film, which one would you go to and be there?
Do you know what? I'd love to visit the set of David Lynch film. Any film, seriously, any film, Eraserhead. I mean, that was, but I'm just going far back. Obviously, Mulholland Drive was amazing as well. I would any set of David Lynch. Oh my God,
I love that you've chosen Eraserhead. We shall put you on the radio.
Incredible, right?
Olga Kurylenko, been brilliant to see you again. Thank you so much. Shame you can't join us on the red carpet in Cannes, but we will think of you and blow you a figurative kiss tonight as we go into the Lumiere.
Thank you. Have fun there.
Go and see Olga Kurylenko in Black Widow. I really enjoyed its action and its blockbusting. The main interview on Seen Any Good Films Lately is supported by Strike. Now it's available in Cannes. Strike is, of course, as you know because you listen to the show, the distilled beverage with all the spirit, none of the alcohol. And you can get it in cans, which is why they're supporting this special episode of the Cannes Seen Any Good Films lately. If you want to get 40% off your orders for Strike, it comes in bottles or in cans, just go to strike.com, that's strykk.com. You can find some writing from me on their blog. You can also order your Strike and they'll deliver it to you with 40% off. Just enter the voucher code Jason40. Santé, Strike. I told you if I've seen any good films lately, but let's hear what some of my fellow festivaliers have been watching.
I came to Cannes from Italy. My name's Lee Marshall, and I'm a critic for Screen International.
Lee, have you seen any good films lately?
Yeah, I really like the Norwegian film here by Joachim Trier that was in competition and is called
The Worst Person in the World?
The Worst Person in the World. That was the English title. I think he's a director who really goes into character in depth and excavates and does interesting things with what we would call a character study.
And what does it mean to be back at Cannes for you, Lee, after a couple of years away?
It's great to be back here. You know, even though it was put off from May till summer, it's just wonderful to be embracing this world of cinema that I love again with film friends and being in screenings and seeing films the way they're meant to be presented, not on a small screen, but with lots of people loving it in a big cinema.
My name is Christian Mongard. I'm a Danish film journalist. I write for a daily Danish newspaper called Information. I think it was Roger Ebert who once called this Disneyland for adults, and there's something really true about that. It's a surge of energy that you need every year to be able to go on, in a sense. This is where you find out how the state of the world film is and the art film world is, and it gives you a lot of new energy and hope for with a big C when you go here.
I'm Wendy-eyed. I'm coming from London, and I'm delighted to be back here.
And you've written for many people in Cannes over the years. Who are you here for this year?
This year I'm entirely here for Screen International. I have found such great stuff this year. So the things I've loved particularly are Hit the Road, which is in Director's Fortnight, which is just the most exquisite debut. I really am so excited about this, and it really felt like a proper discovery, and I can't praise it highly enough. I've also loved Prayers for the Stolen, which is a Mexican film by the director who was the Mexican submission for the Oscars with Tempestad. This is her first fiction feature. She's done documentaries before, and it's very, very special.
My name's Damon Wise. I'm here for a lot of outlets, including Deadline, Total Film, Financial Times, and Uncut magazine. I was very happy to see the French Dispatch, which is everything I expected from a Wes Anderson movie. It's eccentric and full of detail and full of great performances, including Jeffrey Wright channeling James Baldwin and Johnny Mathis. You're never going to see that anywhere else.
And is there anything a little bit off-piece that's kind of, taken your heart?
Well, I'm dying to see Titane. I have no idea what it's about. The director herself has only issued one statement, and it's a dictionary definition of titanium. And I've seen the trailer. It involves a bit of nudity, a bit of fighting, lots of fire, things blowing up, people shouting to each other. So that, to me, Sailor Cannes. That to me is Cannes. That's the thing that I can't quite describe, and I'm waiting to see put into motion picture form.
Yeah, great selection and choice from those people. I admired Iranian film A Hero by double Oscar winner Asghar Farhadi, who did A Separation and The Salesman. And this is another gripping moral thriller from him about a man released from a debtor's prison and claiming to have returned a bag of gold that he'd found. But he's twisting himself and everyone else into knots of dilemma. There was also Palme d'Or winner Jacques Audiard, who's a prophet. I made my all-time top European film in my list for the New European a couple of weeks ago. Well, he's back in competition now with a film called Les Olympiades, a black and white bed-hopping tale of young Parisians in the titular late 60s housing estate in the 13th arrondissement of Paris. It's co-written by girlhood director Céline Sciamma, so the pedigree and expectation for Les Olympiades were as high as the tower blocks in which the characters live and work. It's a cool film, certainly, a multicultural take on the classic Nouvelle Vague relationship movies that were typified by Eric Romer and Jean-Luc Godard. But it didn't quite hit the heights for me, despite luminous, sexy performances from Noémie Merlan, who was in Sciamma's Portrait of a Lady on Fire, and the debutante Lucy Zhang. I found it strange that these young people on screen, though, didn't mention lockdown at all, as they were looking to reconnect with each other after so long away. No one really mentioned the lockdown on screen at all, because I guess films are about escape, and certainly the sexy, garish and gory succès de scandale was body horror French film Titane. It's bonkers. Look away, I watched half of it between my fingers. It's out there. It's about a sexual serial killer called Alexia, who's also an erotic dancer with a bit of a car fetish and a titanium plate in her head. She's on the run from police and disguises herself as the long-lost son of a jacked-up bodybuilder fireman played by Vincent Landon. Titane is pretty crazy, and it stars an amazing, super cool new French actress. So, of course, I had to go and meet her.
So my name is Agathe Rousselle, and I have the lead part in the latest Julia Ducournau's movie.
And how did you get that part?
I got cast by the casting director on Instagram.
On Instagram, okay, so it is a bit interesting, because it's...
Weirdly enough, but yes, yeah.
What were you doing on Instagram?
Not much, just, making jokes. I've been modeling for a while, and playing in short movies and stuff, so I had I had material for them to see that I was probably androgynous enough for them, for the movie.
And where are you from?
I was born in Lille, in the north of France, but I've traveled a little bit around France, and now I've been living in Paris for 12 years.
And how come you speak English?
I've had many American boyfriends.
It's the best way.
I know, best way.
I think people will see your role here, because the film is coming out in the UK, and they will be completely shocked and confused and challenged by it. Is that what you were working on with the director?
I mean, I've never put in consideration the way people were going to react to anything. I was just doing my job, and I mean, the way people feel about what I did is, I mean, in a way, not really my problem. You know what I mean? I just did my job the way my director wanted me to work. And then if, people are shocked, I mean, so be it. I mean, it's good to be shocked. It's like being shaken up. It's good. It's good.
I loved it being shocked here. But actually, I hadn't been shocked the entire can. Really? And then I saw your film and I was like, yes!
Yay! I'm happy for you. Yeah, it's good to be shaken up a little bit. Yeah. It's good to be, excited about something.
Have you been, Cannes has a history of every year there's normally one film that will shock people. And I think this year it's your film. How do you feel about that? You're the sort of succès de scandale.
I'm really, really, really excited about it. I'm really happy about it. I mean, I'm happy that, whatever we get a prize or not, what matters is, that people see the movie and you'll get something from it.
What do you think it means? Because everyone's walking around going, I love that movie, it looked great. I'm not really sure what it means. And it has one of its own interpretation, but you've thought about it and talked about it more than I have, yes. So perhaps you've got somewhere.
I mean, I think you have to watch it twice, because it's the same for me. The first time I watched it, and I knew everything about it. I'm in it. But, yeah, very, very much in it. So, first time I saw it, I went out of the cinema and I was like, what the fuck did I just see? It was just really, really weird. But then I watched it again and I really saw it. I really watched it and it was really, really good. But I think, it's the kind of movie that you need to let infuse a little bit and just, try to think about it, and it takes a little time to understand the different layers.
Because it's quite it's about, so people say, it's about gender, which it is, but it's not really.
No, it's not. It's not so much about gender. It's mostly about the fact that gender is not that relevant anymore. The gender situation doesn't happen because of a identity crisis. It happens out of necessity. So if she had to turn into a dog, she would have become a dog. Literally, if that was an option to her, or become a tree, she would have been a tree. It's really different. It's just the only way she had to just save herself.
If she had to turn into a dog, would you have done that too? As an actress, you could do that.
I love dogs, so yeah, probably.
Which dog would you be?
I'll be my dog. She's the cutest.
What you got?
Yeah, she's a half Bichon and half Pyrenean Shepherd. She's the cutest. Yeah.
So what's when you have a debut like this? Because for me, it's your debut. I haven't seen your short films. What sort of happens when because I'm always intrigued in Cannes, because Cannes can make you like this.
It's extremely disturbing, but also very extremely exciting and extremely overwhelming. I've been overwhelmed. I'm still waiting for someone to pinch me and wake me up. I don't. Thank you. Don't beat me. No, it's really, really, it's something, because doing this movie made me fulfill my biggest dream, but then being here is something I've never I mean, I've thought about it, you know. Like
what was that dream?
Being an actress and getting this kind of role as well, because I'm not really interested in playing myself. I love the way that, you know, I have this character has nothing to do with me, and I had to like build it from scratch. And that's like the essence of being an actor, right? So like Julia in that sense gave me the most amazing present. And on top of that, she did an amazing movie.
Well, no one told me about her, the way she lied. But it's too late to say you're sorry. How would I know? Why should I care? Please don't bother trying to find her. She's not there. Well, let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, the color of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright, but she's not there.
Another breakout performance down here came from Norway's Renate Reinsvie, who charmed us all in Joachim Trier's romance, The Worst Person in the World. She plays Julie, who's a 20-something Oslonian, if that's what you call people who live in Oslo. And she finds romantic entanglements in the city and finds herself torn between her two lovers and her own desires. It might be called The Worst Person in the World, but she might just get the best actress here at Cannes, so we should find out more about her, right?
I am Renate Reinsve, but here you say Renate Reinsve, I think. And I play the lead in Joachim Trier's film. I play the role of Julie, 30-year-old. Yeah, you follow her through a few years, but yes.
Yeah, and we get to her 30th birthday and she has a cake in it. She's a wonderful character, beautifully played. Star was born on the Croisette. How does that feel?
I don't know. You know what? The day after the premiere, I woke up and I felt like, oh no, the reviews are coming out today. I probably ruined the whole film. I had so much loathing like Julie, the character, does. And I actually just puked.
This is your first Cannes, I'm assuming, because it's kind of your first movie in a way.
Yeah, it is. So it's very overwhelming. It's very huge. It's huge, yeah.
We see a lot of Julie, we see a lot of you. I'm assuming you, there's, as an actress, there's always a bit of you in every word, in every gesture. But we see her being happy, we see her being sad, we see her being fun, we see her being a bit of a nightmare, we see her being, you know, we love her at parts and we kind of detest her in other parts. So you have all of this prism of emotions and to display.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I wanted to be really honest. I wanted to be like horrible and terrible and trying to like be a bit like beautiful and proud and getting embarrassed and try to get in touch with all the things that I'm a bit ashamed of. And I'm so glad to hear it comes through. That's a big compliment.
Oh, good. Well, because it's very easy to just try and make her likeable and go, love me, love me, love me. Look how cute I am. Aren't I Annie Hall? It's all so cute. Yeah. And there is a bit of Woody Allen, I felt, in this. There's even a direct quote from Woody Allen in this.
Yeah, Joachim talked a lot about Annie Hall, actually, for me. So I watched that to see kind of what, the charm of a character. And Julie really needed to be charming.
You know, it's my favourite film of all time.
Is it? Is it? Yeah, it's so charming. Yeah, I love her style. I love her way of being.
Yeah, and that might be why I connected very much with it. Are you from Oslo? Oslonian, is that the word?
Now it is.
What do you call it?
From Oslo, yeah. No, I'm not. I'm from a really, really small place. It's not even a place. It's just like a road. We had one bank and one that's closed, and then one shop and a school. But
what's it called?
It's Solberga.
Solberga.
Yeah. I was not exposed to any like culture, art when I grew up, so I had to like find it myself.
So was that your young Oslo in a way that was represented? Did you kind of feel that person, that Julie? You kind of had met her a few times.
Yeah, it's like you probably have that where you grew up too. Like you know where to go to see the beautiful sunset, and you know the special lighting when you're going home from a party and when the sun is coming up again. Like those are very emotional moments. So
I guess in Oslo in the summer, if you go to a party and the sun goes down, comes up, it's a very quick moment.
Like 2 hours where it's dark, maybe 1. Yeah, it's very quick.
I did like that light was captured as well. I was like, it's always light here, of course. It's brilliant. What was the first film you ever saw then, if you didn't have culture in your little village?
Actually, it's a little bit embarrassing, but it was Lord of the Rings when I was 13. That was like we go to the movies in Drammen, the city. Like it took us, I don't know, half an hour to come there, and that's the first like film I saw, which was like okay, someone worked really hard on making a universe here. Yeah, we were little gang who saw that 13 times in the movies.
Like little hobbits
and everything. And then I started looking for like, okay, there are more cool things in the world, but everyone was listening to like Backstreet Boys, and I didn't really enjoy that too much. I had to listen like Pink Floyd secretly in my room with no friends will accept that.
Like some 70s student. There's some great music in your film, actually. The soundtrack is really good.
Yeah.
I had to get Shazamming. I was like, that's Art Garfunkel doing Waters of March.
Yeah, but Joachim he's a genius. He's a DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a...
Did I miss him at the party DJing? Apparently he was going to DJ. I don't know if he did.
Tonight.
Oh, there's one tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, you got another party?
Yeah.
How many parties do you need?
No, I need to get well from this cold. But it's so much fun being I love partying. Yeah. So I'm going to go tonight.
Yeah. Oh, he's DJing tonight. Well, maybe I'll come as well.
Do it.
Because there's that Billie Holiday. There's some electronic, like Chassol, the French one.
Oh, yeah.
There's Harry Nilsson. There's some funny stuff.
Yeah.
There's Somonde. And you're dancing to it. And in fact, one of your family or your boyfriend's family changes the music, which is really rude. But I love that track that you're dancing to. Is that Marie? Just one thing.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Yeah, and he changes it to what was it again?
He changes it to Simonde.
Yeah. That was their like the actor playing that role. He is that guy.
It's an old person's 70s jazz funk.
Yeah.
I like it very much, but I also like what you were saying.
Yeah.
If you could go to one movie set.
Yeah.
Ever, like, back in time, who would you visit making a movie?
I would visit David Lynch. That was after the encounter with Lord of the Rings, like Lynch was I fell in love with the movies. That is my favorite.
Which one?
Director. I saw Mulholland Drive, and I saw a lot of his like student. I don't remember what they called, but what he did when he was a student as well, and just saw all of it. And of course the series. What is it called again? Twin Peaks. Our brains are gone after these days. Yeah, and I really just love his whole philosophy of going into the subconscious when making a movie, and he takes stuff from his dreams and uses them. I love that. I love the way it's so unique and special. You don't see that.
Where's your favorite cinema?
Well, right now it's actually opened a cinema right in front of my house. That was my dream come true when I moved there, and now it's there. It's like I can almost see it around the corner, and it's like passionate, idealistic people made that cinema. It's really nice. There's a lot of good happenings, and yeah.
In Oslo.
Yeah, right outside.
You're going to one day wake up, come out of your front door, and your movie
Yeah.
will be playing in your street opposite you.
Yeah, that's so nice. In my living room, yeah.
And now one of your favourite cinemas must be the Lumière here in Cannes, because that's where you were born.
Of course, now it is. Yeah, I really want to do a bit more movies now. I've fallen in love completely.
I told you it was a busy show, didn't I? I wonder what else my colleagues have been watching.
Khalil Maftab, I'm here writing for The Eye and Cine Europa.
What's it mean to you to be back at Cannes after a little hiatus?
Oh, it's wonderful. I was should I stay or should I go? You know how it is, the old Clash song. And I was like, I better go. And being here is fabulous. We have the sun, we have great movies, have cinemas to watch them in. And then afterwards I can bump into people I love and some I hate and talk about the movies.
Seen any good films lately?
Oh man, I've seen a lot of good films lately. I also liked Bloody Oranges, this crazy midnight movie. That's a French film that's kind of has a lot of incidences that happen one after the other of a violent sexual kind. But the first time you think it's funny, the second time you still think it's funny, and the third time you realise that maybe you're culpable as well. There's a lot of tenant on the audiences. Innocence does that as well. Amazing horror film for kids. That's by Eskil Vogt. He works with Joachim Trier. He actually wrote the film The Worst Person in the World that's in competition.
I really like that.
Well, funnily, The Innocents is my favourite film, and the Joachim Trier that you like, I really hated.
My name is Stephanie Bunbury. I'm a reporter for the Melbourne Age newspaper and the Sydney Morning Herald newspaper.
And what does it mean to you to be back at Cannes, Stephanie?
It's utterly thrilling and light on in terms of quality films, although there seem to be more films, but fewer that we are actually excited about. Just to be back at the world's greatest film festival is a huge relief to me because it means that life goes on.
And have you seen any good films lately?
The Velvet Underground documentary by Todd Haynes is truly, I think, a revolutionary approach to documentary.
John Bleasdale. I'm writing for Sight and Sound and cineview.com. Well, I really enjoyed writing about Three Floors by Nana Moretti because it was awful. And it's always easy to write about something you don't particularly like. But I really enjoyed enthusing about Hit the Road as well, which is an Iranian film that is just so joyous. I could talk about it all day.
I know you're Italian, so I saw you at the Venice Film Festival. What does it mean for you to be back at Cannes?
It's really important for me. I love Venice, and I love the Italian film festivals. I love Swiss film festivals. I love Chinese film festivals. But Cannes is the lead. It really sets the tone for the whole year.
Back to the star guests, and I was really happy to meet Adeel Akhtar down here on the Croisette. He shone in Ali and Ava, which is about an interracial romance set in Bradford between Muslim Ali and white blonde teaching assistant grandma Ava, played by Claire Rushbrook. It's a slice of British social realism for sure, but told with great love and warmth. So let's find out more about Adeel, whose smiling face you'll recognise from films like Four Lions and Victoria and Abdul, and from the comedy Back to Life with Daisy Haggard on TV. I met up for a sunshine chat with Adeel Akhtar in Cannes, and because he was starring in an interracial romance and playing a British Asian character, there just aren't that many of those, certainly not on the big screen here in Cannes, and certainly really not that many in the UK. And I asked him how important it was to see a character of his heritage, his colour, on the screen at Cannes.
I think what it does is it introduces me to the idea, as well as introducing other people to the idea, that this medium of cinema is richer for its multiplicity. It's richer for its variety. But I'm also experiencing that as it's happening, you know, through the kindness and sort of benevolence of an amazing filmmaker like Clive, who essentially is saying, you're permitted to do this. You're permitted to embody this character and make him funny and complex and hopeful, ultimately. And so I think collectively, as like cinema-going people, we're entering this new time where we're sort of on the cusp of something really exciting happening. We've got, even at this festival, this, you know, Joanna Hogg, Andrea Arnold, Clio, which feels like a bit of a sea change in the idea of what cinema is and can represent when you come from Britain. And I think we're in the sort of wake of it at the moment, and it feels really hopeful and exciting.
When you say that, Adeel, it's interesting because I've been here many times, and sometimes it's like, well, it's Ken Loach, Mike Leigh and Michael Winterbottom. You know, those are the Brits that get accepted. But when you enumerate them, it's like, actually, you're right. It's a bit of a change.
Yeah.
And you think that with them will come different stories of Britain?
Yeah, I don't know. I just know that we're in the change now. I think we're sort of experiencing something where there's a sort of people have the desire to want to be challenged with their understanding of who people are and what they represent. And I think people just want to see more of it. And And I think we're in the process of that happening here. You know, it's really difficult to articulate because it feels like it's happening. You know what I mean? It feels like just like this is my first Cannes, and I'm chatting to people about it, and there's a sort of optimism about the idea of, well, this is the direction that cinema can go in, and it's not sort of very loud and not very muscular, but it's kind of, we're sort of gently tapping on, gently knocking on the door a little bit, you know.
And how are you feeling for Asian actors? I don't like using the word Asian because are you Asian? Is that fair? I don't. Okay. Yeah. You know, Riz, it was, you know, you're in Four Lions with, has been pretty vocal of late.
Yes.
About representation and, you know, not being cast as a terrorist exactly. But I mean, you seem to be amassing a lovely selection of real roles and beautiful roles that may have to be Asian or may not need to be Asian.
Yeah, Riz sort of, whenever I hear him articulate it, it's really nice because we're sort of having a conversation with each other without chatting to each other, and he sort of has this thing where he talks about, there was a moment where he was really burdened with the idea of representing something, like his culture or where he's from and everything, and then this sort of next kind of whatever emanation of him is he was just thinking about how to present himself in the best way that he can. And I think there's something about the tension between those two things where really true and original filmmaking and voices are found.
Look at this. Look at this. That's
Hey!
Matty Lee!
Oh, you! Don't say shop. Stop throwing stones. What's wrong with you? What? Hey! You're in big trouble now, you. You're in big trouble.
You should know better.
Oh, you lot stop that now.
Finish what you doing here?
That's terrible behaviour. I'm surprised at you. Hey, see you there. He's an old mud lad, isn't he? Who knows this one?
816 and we're breaking rocks. Got 220 and I'm robbing shops. 22 songs start to walk clocks in secret plus and what?
There's a way of scooping it all up. It's not about one thing or another. You can have, with the opportunity, with something that Clive gave me, you can have the opportunity of expressing something very human within a sort of cultural context, and the culturalness of it transcends what it is, and the humanity of what it is transcends the culture. And then something really amazing happens when you get out of the cinema and you walk away from the film. It's still with you on some level, and it sort of becomes the world that you then look out on, you know.
Tell me about you. I loved you with Daisy recently. It was lovely. Yeah. Well, is comedy your thing? Did you start out with comedy, or did you always think, I'm going to be a comic actor? Or I mean, it seems that you bring comedy to the great humanity of Ali in this.
Yeah. I don't know. I found, like, I don't know if you find this yourself, but whenever you sort of try and be really prescriptive, or like, I'm a drama person, I want everybody to take me really seriously. More often than not, people sort of find that quite funny if you take yourself too seriously. And then when you find yourself a comedy person, if you sort of define yourself as being very comedic, then suddenly, you know, you're on the phone with somebody like Daisy Haggard who's going, it's a comedy, but it's about somebody who's just left prison, and there's some really serious bits in it, you know. And it's never been anything that I've tried to sort of orchestrate in any way. It's just sort of things that sort of avail themselves, and I try and do them as best I can. And I think the drama teaches something about the comedy, and the comedy teaches something about the drama. I mean,
but when you were like drama school, were you like, I'll do a funny Shakespeare, or
drama? I took myself very seriously. I went to a method school, so that was all about like living every single minute of every single moment. And I think I just got exhausted. You know, when you're young, I think you can do that because it's so, you want that. You want to feel all the feelings you can feel. And then there's one exercise called the coffee cup exercise where you had to drink an imaginary cup of coffee. And we did that for like 5 weeks, like feeling the heat and smelling the coffee and everything else. And it just seemed a lot.
Were you always going to be an actor?
No, I studied law.
Did you?
Initially. Yeah.
Oh, I better be careful then.
Right. I've already made some notes. No, because my dad was a lawyer himself, so he was like quite a relatively kind of strict upbringing in the sense that you have to do this.
Where's he from?
From Pakistan. Yeah, and mum's from Kenya, but understandably,
Gujarat. Came out when left with when Amin kicked everyone out.
Oh, that's Uganda. So she.
I'm sorry, Uganda, Kenya. Yeah, you're allowed to stay.
But similar thing. A similar thing. Yeah. But understandably so. Like they were just kind of. They had such a struggle that they kind of wanted to minimise mine enough to sort of go, well, this is the best way to live the rest of your life, you know, like just have a sensible job. And
what did they say when you said, "Oh, I'm going to be an actor"?
Yeah, I think they're still getting their head round what that means.
That's what I'm asking. That, and now you can say, well, "Look, I'm a cat."
Yeah. What's wonderful about them is that they sort of only have a concept of like what the idea of acting is in their understanding of what acting is. So they were really excited about a film that I did called The Big Sick, because the dad in that was a guy called Anupam Kher, who is also, he's sort of really famous Indian actor. And so they were sort of super excited about that. So even when I go back now, my dad's like, what have you thought about acting in Bollywood films, sort of thing? And I was like, I don't think they'd have me. But the effort is there, and it's really nice of trying to like.
Did you grow up watching Bollywood films?
A little bit, not loads. Yeah, there was like some staples that sort of we used to listen to.
What was the first film you ever saw at the cinema?
Yeah, the first film. I'm not sure if this was the first, but I think it might have been Dead Poets Society, and I think we all went as a family. And that was like a strange story, obviously, because like there's quite a strict dad in that, and the kid wants to be an actor and everything else. And wow, didn't even think about it. So anyway, so Dead Poets Society.
That's what I do on the show. We get you right deep in there.
The sunshine, I love it. That's good.
Is there a film that changed your life? Is there a film that you went, I've seen that. I'm gonna be an actor. Maybe I don't want to suggest what happened.
I'm not sure if it was like a single film. I think there's just actors in different roles sort of gave me the understanding that there's a breadth to like characterization that you can do anything. You can sort of. It was watching those actors that instilled me with the feeling that because they were so good, it gave me the feeling that, you can really, with a lot of work and a lot of effort, you can characterise lots of different things, and that was really exciting thought.
Who, for example?
Philip Seymour Hoffman was one guy that I was always looking at and trying to work out. It was like a sleight of hand. I'd watch it just going, what's he doing there? Like, how is he doing that? And I suppose like Daniel Day-Lewis, but then I sort of feel like his sleight of hand is more obvious in a way. It's like the idea is that he is that thing. But with the Philip Seymour Hoffman thing, it was more. I found that more intriguing because I really didn't know where he was in that. I really didn't know where the character was or where he was in that, you know?
Where's your favourite cinema, Adeel?
Favourite cinema? Or like actual cinema? There's this beautiful lake in New Zealand called Lake Wanaka, and there's a cinema attached to it called Cinema Paradiso, which is near the lake, and it has this yellow taxi cab in it, a cut-out yellow taxi cab where the kids sit down and watch and cobble together seats, like bits of sofa and stuff like that. It was like this kind of beautiful ramshackly sort of cinema, and I enjoyed the film I saw was like a terrible dragon cartoon, but it was a good experience in that cinema. Yeah.
You seen any good films lately?
The last thing that I've seen that's been really, really good that sort of stuck with me was My Brilliant Friend, but that's not a film, I know, but it's like the Ferrante sort of
Elena Ferrante, the sort of series that's
the series, yeah, which weirdly is like, even though it's not a film, there's this sort of trend now, which is people are trying to sort of make things as filmic as possible, and that's sort of edging, like some of the shots they've got there, sort of edging towards like Italian. What's that?
Neo-realism.
That's the one. So there's like moments where the shots are like an obvious background of somebody driving in a car, and it's like harking back to a bit of an ode to that sort of filmmaking. But that's the one thing but that was good because it was so long. You could really dive into it. It went on for ages, so I enjoyed that.
Yeah. If I could take you back in time to a film set that's being made, a film that's being made, which one would you visit?
I keep on hearing that whenever sort of you're around older actors, and it always goes. There's a story they tell about that, and I had a little bit of a taste of it when I did Victoria and Adeel shooting in India, but it was the funeral procession for Gandhi, Ben Kingsley's Gandhi, and apparently they had their normal extras there, and then it got crazy, like the amount of people that were there, and for the people that were watching it, they couldn't compute why they didn't get it. But I'd love to have like seen that, and weirdly maybe the through line is like an Ali and Ava thing where they're sort of like the artifice and the reality sort of melds into itself a little bit, and you just go, this is more realer than real, you know.
Well, Ben Kingsley's Gandhi is probably a bit more. I know from my age, maybe for your age too. He's more real than the actual Gandhi. You know, he is Gandhi.
He is Gandhi. Yeah. But that crowd as well, and because we did Victoria and Adeel, there was a statue put up in a square in India, and people were actually people worried about their safety, because the local Indian people there just thought it was a bit sacrilegious, not sacrilegious, but like took offence to this statue being put up near where they live, and it was it's just that thing of like the response to it is so real that you can't, it's just a happy accident of filmmaking. It reminds me of that one where it's like in The Graduate, that last scene in The Graduate. So apparently the reason why they look so upset was because Mike Nichols bollocked them just before they got onto the thing, and he was just said to them, look, we've only got 2 minutes to do this fucking shot, you better do it, otherwise whatever he said. So it's supposed to end when they smiled, but in the editing room he saw it and he heard himself shouting at them, and he just called it like the happy accident of filming, where you get to that spot which is more realer than anything you could have imagined.
Well, I think you reached quite a lot of those moments, Adeel, in Ali and Ava. Congratulations on that. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, I hope and I reckon I've got the flavour of this strange edition of the Cannes Film Festival for you. But there are still so many more films to tell you about. But we can now reveal the decisions of Spike Lee and his jurors as they tell us if they've seen any good films lately. We've just come out of the closing ceremony of the awards of the 75th Cannes Film Festival. I bumped into Christian Munyard, my friend from Denmark. What did you make of that ceremony, Christian?
That was the most fun I've had at a prize ceremony in Cannes. I've been here 22 years. This is the most fun I ever had, because it started with Spike Lee announcing the winner as the first thing he ever said on stage. Mélanie Laurent, who's in the jury too, she couldn't keep her face straight. She was laughing all the way through. Tahar Rahim sat down next to Spike Lee to kind of keep him on track. And every time they gave him the microphone, he almost said something wrong. So they took away the microphone again. So he couldn't say anything. Everything just went wrong. And two of the big prizes, the jury prize and the Grand Prix, were both shared prizes. And they forgot to announce that at the beginning. So people began clapping for the one winner, but not for the next. It was unbelievable, actually.
And they had these prizes to give out, but they hadn't obviously told the organisers that they were sharing the prizes, so that the guy who was in the second sharer didn't have a trophy. They were sat there empty-handed.
Exactly, that looked really stupid. You're standing there fighting, and at one point you thought that Oliver Stone, who was presenting the Grand Prix, that it was him who had won, because he took the prize himself and walked around with it. It was so insane. But as Julie Ducournau said, the winner of the Golden Palm with Titane, she said that this is a perfect evening because it's not perfect. And that is actually right. And you can only say that Cannes is back with a bang.
What do you think of this award to this film? I mean, I thought it was a totally out there film. It's probably the most radical out there genre film to win the Palme d'Or.
It is. I must say I'm not a huge fan of the film. I prefer the original, if I can put it that way. And
you mean Crash?
Exactly, Cronenberg's Crash. No, but and that's not fair to Julie Ducournau. She's a good director, and the film has some unforgettable images, no doubt about it. I thought the beginning of the film, actually the first half of the film, was really good, but then for me it descended into madness, which I guess, of course, was the point of the whole thing. But it was too much for me, you know.
Me too. If I'm honest, it's way out there for me. I like a sort of walking around, people falling in love kind of film, like The Worst Person in the World, which Renate Reinsvie won Best Actress for, which I was delighted. But this is good. This is a female filmmaker, the first one since Jane Campion. Very different film to The Piano, of course, but winning the Palme d'Or.
Yeah, and also it shows some artistic courage from the jury, and it also shows you that every year we try to second guess the jury. But these are between 7 and 9 artistic temperaments, so different from each other and us in their point of view and their sensibilities, and of course we cannot second guess. We cannot guess who they're going to award the big prizes to. So I thought in that sense it was courageous, and it was finally a female director won the Palme d'Or for the first time in 30 years almost, and you can see this director Julie Ducournau, because she is a good director. She makes strong images and she's going places, and I think that's the really good thing about this.
Although this film is so out there, it's gone somewhere already. I don't know where you can go with it. She's got to keep kind of making genre films, but Cronenberg is her avowed favourite, so it didn't harm him much.
No, that's true, and he started going the other way at one point. Body horror in the 80s and the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and then he turned somewhere else, and she can do that too. But you're right, it is interesting, and that's also the same thing with Wes Anderson. He's been going in the same direction for all of his films, and I thought with the Grand Budapest Hotel he couldn't go any further, and then he made the French Dispatch, which is in competition this year, or was in competition, didn't win anything. That went even further, and you didn't
up his own little twee arse, if you ask me. But but any other? What did you think of the other prizes? Memoria winning a jury prize. I was when I saw them walking up the red carpet, I thought, maybe they're going to win the big prize for Apichatpong again after Uncle Bunmi. But it was just sort of a second prize.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I found Memoria really boring. It's a beautiful film, but it's so boring. I share a hotel with the producer, and I was lying to him the other day when I said I didn't lie. I said it was a beautiful film, and then I didn't say anything else. I hope he doesn't listen to this. But it's...
I do know Simon Field, as it happens.
Yeah, but he's a very nice guy, so you hopefully won't think ill of me. One prize I really loved was the one for Asghar Farhadi's A Hero, which is a really strong film.
Yeah, very solid Cannes film.
But I'm really sorry that Sean Baker didn't win anything for Red Rocket, which was my absolute favourite here.
Yes, Christian, good shout. I like that. I also liked Casablanca Beats. I thought that was very fresh, and I thought Spike might go for it because it had a sort of, it was about hip hop. But again, we can't second guess them. You have Matty Diop there, and in the end, history was made tonight. A female filmmaker winning the Palme d'Or for the second time.
And Spike Lee announcing the winner before time. It was something. Yeah, it's the most fun I've had, and you could see him being very apologetic and very kind of embarrassed about what he has done, and he was so afraid of saying anything afterwards.
I kind of blame the host. She kind of asked him, "Would you tell us your first prize?" And she kind of didn't really bring it back. What is this? Is this on a par with, or is this worse with than the Warren Beatty, Faye Dunaway, Moonlight La La Land slip?
I think it's on a par with it. I think the other one was actually worse because you were told you won an Oscar, but you really didn't win an Oscar. Yes. And this one is everybody knew who was going to win the Palme d'Or. It wasn't that they announced the wrong winner. They just announced it. So the kind of the excitement of the whole show was kind of, gone, even though you didn't know who was going to win all the other prizes. For instance, Apitapong Virasitakul, he was sitting there perhaps thinking, I'm going to win the Palme d'Or for the second time. And then Spike Lee, fucked it up. And then that wasn't possible.
He did fuck it up. What do you think, as the end, this is a big prize and a big story in the end for people like us coming out of Cannes. Good Cannes, bad Cannes, medium Cannes, just it's Cannes back.
I'm really happy to be here. I missed it last year. I think it's not one of the best Cannes. It's not one of the worst. But I think actually it's a good Cannes, and especially the second half of the festival. Yes. The good films started coming. Really the really good films started coming.
Red Rocket. We had this one, Titane. We had fresh news perspectives that would come up aesthetically and thematically.
Exactly. So I think it's above average festival. I would say no masterpieces, but still some very good films that I'm looking forward to seeing again. Perhaps in a more forgiving setting, which is one of the really interesting things about going to Cannes is that you can never really or entirely trust your own opinion when you see a film, because you see 5 films a day, you can be tired, you can be moody, you can be whatever.
And there's an expectation about it. You're like, is this a winner? So you see it, and if it's not a winner, you sort of dismiss it, which I did with Titane. I did think that I thought it was too mad to win the Palme d'Or, but obviously maybe cinema's changing. We've got a fresh voice here, we've got a new aesthetic here, we've got something that could win a prize.
And that is actually one of the most important lessons, I think, from this year's festival is that now Cannes is back, the world film is back, movies are back, cinema is back, and it's back with a bang, I would say. And a night Spike Lee will probably, what is he, 63? He would probably never forget this night. And Melanie Laurent was just amazing because she was laughing. Besides, she was sitting beside him and she was laughing all the time. So it's been one of the most fun nights in Cannes for many years.
Well, nice to share it with you, Christian. Thanks for coming on the show again.
My pleasure.
That's it from Cannes and from Seen Any Good Films lately. It's been great to be back down here, and it's been great to have you with us. I've got to say a big merci to my editor, Kate Dawkins, who was putting all this together as I was sending it back from Cannes to her in Britain. And if you love the show, then please find all the other episodes of it, Seen Any Good Films Lately, on your normal podcast platforms, and tell us what you think about it. And, of course, subscribe and leave a comment so that other people can find it and find out all these brilliant film recommendations. We're bursting with them on this show. I'm going to take a little break for the summer after all of this, so it's au revoir and à bientôt. Let's play out then with a bit of Franco pop that popped up in the Finnish entrant, compartment number 6, set on a long train journey to the north of Russia with lots of vodka and some mighty pickles, and this top French summer tune. Voyage, voyage. Bon voyage tout le monde.